Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Tamisha, your occupational therapy coach. And in today's video, we're going to do education, a learning video, and we're going to cover the topic of top down versus bottom up. And I feel like this can be quite confusing. So I figured I'll do a video with my small little whiteboard here just to make it a little bit more easier to understand, a little bit more palatable. Okay. So let's go ahead. Let's jump right into this. So we have something called top down, approach, and then we have something else that's called bottom up approach. Okay. And these two are both a type of evaluation. Okay. They're a type of evaluation approach. Okay. That's probably the best way I can really describe it to you guys. Okay. So I'm going to try to make this as simple and as easy as possible. I want you to think of solving a puzzle, right? And when you have a puzzle, the big picture, you look at the big picture first, right? And you want to solve the big picture first. Let's look at that and think of that as top down. Whereas focusing on the tiny pieces is more so bottom up approach. Okay. So now how does that relate to the world of occupational therapy? So how that works is if we're thinking about the big picture, okay, we're thinking about starting with the functional activity first. Okay. So our top down is our big picture. All right. And then when we're talking about our bottom up, okay, we're starting with the impairment first. Okay. Now, how does that look like? Let's kind of bring this to life so it makes more sense. So let's say we have a patient, okay? And our patient comes to us, and let's create the scenario. So here's the scenario. Let me write it right here. Let's say this is our scenario, and our scenario is a patient with arthritis wants to be able to, let's say, put on a buttoned shirt again. Okay. So this is our scenario. All right. Okay. So we have our scenario here. All right. So when we're looking at the top-down approach pertaining to our scenario, we're going to do our activity first. So we're going to do observation. Okay. So we're going to do observation, and we're going to watch them actually go through this functional task of what? Trying to put on a shirt. Okay. That's what we're doing. That's the first thing we're going to ask them to do in this case. But pertaining to bottom up approach, instead of we just doing observation, what we're going to look at is our focus is going to be note the impairment, right? So we're going to look at the impairment. And what would the impairment be? Arthritis. Arthritis. There we go. Arthritis. Okay. And a lot of times when the OTR is doing an evaluation and the CODA is collaborating, we generally are going to be working in the top-down approach realm for the most part. Okay. So when it comes to the observation versus the impairment, how does that look like? Okay. So like I said, we're going to observe what they can do first. This is more of a client-centered. This is more of a client-centered approach. Okay. It's more of a client-centered approach when we are really thinking about the two here. And the bottom up is more so of a skill-based or more medical centered. Let's say centered. Okay, I hope you're following me with this. So again, the top down is we're going to do the observation of the functional task first. It's more client centered and occupational. Let's not forget that. Occupation focused. Okay. So that's what those two are. All right. So how is this going to look for our scenario here? So with our scenario here, we are going to, like I said, ask the patient to go through the task of putting on and taking off the shirt. Okay. And we're going to be looking at what they're having a hard time with. Okay. So is it the grip? Is it the buttons? Are they having shoulder pain when they're trying to lift their arm? Okay. So we're going to observe our patient trying to do the actual task of putting on the shirt. And then we're going to look at ways that we can try to modify the activity to reach the ultimate goal of being able to dress independently. Okay. So when we're looking at the activity in a top-down approach, our focus, okay, and our goal, I would say, for this patient is to help them be able to dress independently. Okay. So that's going to look like, let's say, the goal. The goal is going to be client will independently dress upper body with adaptive equipment, maybe something like that. Okay. Whereas the goal here under bottom up approach would be something more so focused on increasing, let's say, grip strength, range of motion, to increase fine motor task management. Okay, let's say something like that. Okay, so if this is going to be our goal, so then our intervention is going to look like something like we're teaching our client about use of adaptive equipment, and that adaptive equipment could be a button hook. We're going to also teach the, let's say our patient, we're going to, let's say, recommend. Okay, so we're going to recommend maybe looser fitting clothing, right? Like looser clothes. That might be something we do. We may even do, maybe depending on how they're doing, if they're expressing that they're getting fatigued, we might educate on energy conservation. So we'll probably do education on energy conservation. We'll probably do education on joint protection. Okay. And we're also going to educate and show them on some strategies, maybe how to compensate for that. Some different techniques, right? Different techniques, like maybe having the shirt pre-buttoned in a certain way with maybe only a small portion open to that allows them to get their head through, and doing it that way so they don't even have to worry about buttoning. That could be an option as well, right? So all of this falls on the top-down approach. Now, when it comes to the bottom-up approach, like I said, our focus is going to be a little bit more different. We're starting out with the impairment. So we're probably going to do, in our intervention now, we're probably going to do more of a preparatory style kind of activity. I'll get my A there. And that's probably going to look something like, we're going to do hot packs, right? We'll probably do hot packs to start off with to help to decrease stiff joints, right? We may also do maybe some hand exercises. So, right, hand exercises, and we'll use therapy. Okay, and that can help with strengthening and help improve their grip. We're definitely always going to do some kind of joint protection education. Okay, and once these underlying issue, right, is improved, which the underlying issue pertaining to the impairment is, let's say, maybe grip strength, range of motion is an issue, then the focus is, okay, the root problem is the arthritic symptoms. And if we address the arthritic symptoms, which is their body function, and that's what I'm thinking of when I'm thinking of the bottom up, you're really focused on the structure and the body function of the person. And the idea behind bottom up is if we fix that first, or we work on that impairment first, then we'll turn around and the person will be able to better manage their dressing. Okay, so that is the focus there. Whereas on top down, we're like, okay, if we see the patient do and observe in their natural environment doing the task, we're going to, if we implement strategies like adaptive equipment, joint protection education, offering other strategies to be able to either compensate or recommend looser fitting clothing, then they'll be able to eventually get to the point where they're at the independence of being able to perform that activity. So you see how it still comes back to the scenario of what the client is looking for, which is being able to, don a button shirt. It's just a different way and perspective of looking at it. For the most part, this is kind of what we tend to live in, but not to say that this is not something that is also looked at. So I hope that this really clarified it. I hope that this made a huge difference for you. Please definitely go ahead, share, and don't forget to subscribe. It's really going to make the world a difference for me, guys. And I will see you in another video. Alrighty, take care. Bye-bye.